So we've got an old toilet here which is constantly pushing the water over this pipe here, which is the overflow, and firing it outside. Reason being is this is an old ball cop setup, which basically when the water fills up it should turn it off, but it's not. This has all gone bad inside, and because it's gone very, very brittle, we're going to change it. At the same time, I'm going to change this as well to a nice neat push button flush rather than the siphon ones. Trouble with the siphon ones is when the bit of plastic which creates a siphon breaks down, all this needs to come out to repair it, or else a new one you don't need to take the whole toilet apart to actually repair or replace it. So we're going to start now. Just port the cord to turn the water off for the water feed. Turn that screw. That'll turn the water off. You want to flush the toilet and get as much water out as possible. I'm using a little suction pump here and literally pumping it up and taking the water out. You'll get so far with this, then you'll have to get the sponge and get the rest of it out. So I've done as much as I can with the little pump. So literally just going to use the sponge to soak up the remaining bits of water. Fire it down there. Takes a while for this to get completed, unfortunately. So with most of the water out, I'm going to start undoing the bits and pieces so we can remove this, as we need to remove this to replace everything inside here. So we're only going to undo these two screws. Going to undo this as well. Got a couple of these to undo here, and on the back side, and this one to take off as well on here. Just need to take all that off. Most of these are quite easy to take off, these fittings underneath here, but these can be a right pain in the neck. Sometimes they seize on, so the easiest way I've found to do it is by grabbing one of these. You can then just poke that on one of the bits like that and use that as a lever. So, and you can actually then undo them. Now when you undo this one, you might find you might have a bit of water coming out, so you just need to put this here just to stop that, as it's simply just the water draining down from the top bit here, that bit. So once you've done that, it all should be, your wing nuts taken off, that one taken off, and your two at the top taken off. And as a result of that, this will be all loose. You need two hands on this just to lever it up and just put it down over here out of the way a bit. So there we go. So clean this up a bit. I don't know why they put silicone on there. You don't need silicone on there. You can see the coupling bit is completely. See, the coupling bit's completely shot. So we'll take all this off. We've got a brand new one. I always buy a brand new one of these. So I'm going to get some big tools like this for this one. It's such a big nut on here. So you want to just get that on there. So it's impossible to do this and hold the camera. But basically, crack that off. There we go. This will all come off. And you need to take the whole thing apart. We've got all this bits off. Loads of silicone thrown on there, I don't know why they've done all that. Got the nut off. This bit's now free. It's just hooked on there. Just undo that, slide that off. This will come out. This all needs to come off as well. That needs to come out. And we actually don't need this overflow anymore because the new one has that already built in. So, a couple of items to take out. So there we go, that's all the bits out. All these bits are out. That's the inside, so we need to do a bit of cleaning up in here now. Got a lot of old silicone and bits which needs to be cleaned right out. Normally I just use like a knife, scrape all the silicone off, and then literally put this in a shower and wash it all out. I'm going to scrape off any silicone like this, get it all off. Don't need any of that on there. Scrape it all off. Right, so I'll put a blanking plug on the left there. We don't actually need this overflow, so it's just a blanking plug that you can buy from various places. So we've got the cold feed in. So in the olden days you had the ball cork stuff, but the ball cork and that, but this is just a simple design, takes up hardly any space. I put a bit of silicone around the bottom and on that one as well, just because it works. I've done it before and it's started to leak very slightly, so a little bit of silicone stops that. We'll just smear that around in a minute, but we're going to put the flush in now. So we've gone with the Fluid Master toilet fill valve with the brass end on it, on the shank. They do it in plastic as well, but there's always that little risk that you might crack it by tightening it up. Get the brass one, you ain't got that problem. So the fill we're going to go for, again, the Fluid Master. That's the one we're going to go for. Let's unbox it. So this is what it looks like. A nice chrome push button. Also got this little adapter O-ring for larger cistern holes, which are off the top of my head. It's normally 2-inch, which is the larger one. So you'll need this adapter which pushes in. But luckily you've got 1.5 here, so that goes straight in. But these are really good. They work. You've got a rubber O-ring around the outside there. That fits over a bit down the recess down the bottom there, stops water from going down. And when you press the button, it lifts up, lets the water out. But you can twist this off and replace that if it ever goes faulty. So they're pretty good. So just added a bit of silicone around there. Taking the nut off the hair, we're just going to feed that back in and do some more bits from the other side once that's done. So you need a coupling thing as well, because obviously the old one was completely rusted to bits. For the price, you've got to change it for the sake of it. It's cheap, just do it. And a nice new donut as well, which sits on there like that on that big hole. And stops the water coming out the side when you flush it. So first thing, we need to put this on first. So put that on, put your bolts in, and then the nut. Nut just goes on there as well then. Tighten that up. I only do this hand tight. It's only plastic, so it can break, which you don't want. So there you go, it's all nice and tight. It's hand tight. Put this all on, your blanking plug, and your water feed as well. So that's it. Once you've cleaned all the top there, we've cleaned that off, got all the old silicone off. We can fit that. Put a new rubber O-ring on there as well while that's apart. This is the old overflow which goes outside. We don't need that anymore, and I'll cut that off flush and silicone that over. So add your donut, and now it's all ready to place onto the actual toilet. So that's all in place. Fit your new wing nuts, and then you can tighten this up. And then you can add your screws in on the top as well. So once you're happy your winglets are nice and tight, both of them should be all nice and tight, like so. Connected at the cold feed, and we turn the water back on via the screw here. No leaks, it's all nice and dry. So we filled it up with water. This is the line, you'll find like a little line at the back. A little line at the back to tell you how much water there should be in there. So we can see we need a little bit more for 6 litres. But to adjust this, I need to go down to the bottom here and pull this up very slightly just to make this whole unit a bit higher. So I've adjusted the height of it now, and it's completely on the line. So you see that sort of greenish looking ring there, you need to pull that up. Hold on to the top of this because it's going to try and fly off from the water pressure. Pull that ring up, and then you want to pull the whole unit holding down onto the grey, the top of the grey there, on that bit, the top of the grey bit, and you're going to just lift up the whole unit so it becomes higher, and then you'll be able to set your water level and fine adjust it using that. So that's it, seems alright. We'll just check for leaks and we'll move on to the next stage. So we just added the nice push button. It's a twin operational one, so if you press the one with the dot on there, that does a short flush. If you press just that one, it does a long flush. So we just connected it in, very simple nut on the back. Got an overflow here, hence why I've got rid of that one. You can adjust the height of this, that's perfect as it is. And that's it. It's a lot cleaner, neater in there compared to what was. So we just add the screws in here now, and that's it, all done. So there you go, all back together. No leaks, everything's all good. You got the button here now, short flush. We press just the bigger button. That'll be a longer flush. So there we go.